Samantha Coates, so great to catch up with you for a quick chat today.
Thank you, Tim. It's lovely to chat with you as always.
Well, I am super stoked that you're coming to my event, Piano Pivot Live in January here in Melbourne. And I have to say that it was after I saw you in action at the NCKP in 2017. You were doing your mnemonics talk. I think everyone who was there was just so blown away. And I think I wrote down in my notes, I'm like, keynote speaker at my event, Sam Coates. What kind of feedback did you get from that speech?
Well, thank you. You're very kind to say all that. I got really good feedback. I mean, really the best possible feedback is when teachers tell me that they don't use mnemonics anymore.
Yes, that's right. That was the whole point, right?
That was the whole point. But it was designed to be a little bit entertaining as well. So it's always nice to know that people had a good time and also took away a good point.
Exactly. And it literally was one of the best things I've ever seen. It just had us laughing, and then we were like emotional, and then we were like, yes, we're going to do this. So I can't wait to see what you're going to be putting together for us. And let me tell everyone the title of your talk, and then we'll just have a really quick chance to unpack it and just give us a few little hints about what you might be doing. So your talk is called The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, How the Internet Has Changed Our Workplace. Before you tell us what we might expect, what got you thinking about this as a topic?
Well, it was actually a conference that I attended a couple of years ago when a colleague of mine, who I have to say is a much older colleague, said that she doesn't believe in YouTube and never ever lets her students use YouTube and has just kind of banned it from her studio. And I didn't really understand how that was possible.
Well, I'm sure her students aren't taking any notice of the ban.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. And it got me thinking that, YouTube is here to stay and it's a huge part of our lives. And there's so many wonderful things that it has to offer. And at first I thought I'd do a whole talk just on YouTube, how YouTube has changed our workplace, which I am going to talk about a lot, but it's really, it's more than just YouTube. It's the internet in general. It's the internet age. And for me, being a digital immigrant that I am and not having grown up in a digital age, I find that myself and most of my colleagues, we have to embrace what the internet has to offer and how to get the most out of it when we are teaching and harness all the good bits.
Yeah. And I have to say, when I have trouble doing something online, yes, I'll Google it, but quite often I'll end up on YouTube for a solution, particularly if it's a tech problem. And when the kids say, oh, I don't know how to do this bit of their homework or log into something, I'll be like, have you Googled it? Have you checked YouTube? So, I mean, if we're using it, then how could we expect our kids not to?
Yes, I agree. And I think the other thing is that the internet has allowed our students to drive their own music education to a certain degree. They can look things up, they can source things that they want to play, they can source music they want to play. And so we have to figure out how to embrace that as well as teachers, because sometimes we end up teaching a lesson that we didn't expect to teach.
Right. And we've got to work out where our new place is, because if we embrace all of this, then naturally the role of our teaching will have to shift slightly, right?
Yes, it has to shift. And it doesn't mean that we are redundant, because YouTube's not going to replace piano teachers. But it does mean that we have to work with it. Otherwise, we may end up alienating a whole generation of students.
Absolutely. Well, let's not give away any more. I think it's a really good little taster of what you're going to talk about. And I'm also really excited that you're going to be joining us for the whole day, which is just super. And I can't thank you enough for doing that, because one of the great opportunities that provides for the teachers present is that they can actually spend some time with you in a small group. And I'm calling these our Mastermind sessions. So in the afternoons, all the delegates will get a chance to literally sit at a table with all of our speakers, Sam included, me, and have a chat, ask questions, and dive deeply into a topic that is of interest to them and that perhaps someone like Sam talked about. What do you think? Because this hasn't been done before at conferences as far as I know, not in music education anyway. So what do you think will be a key benefit of those kind of little sessions for the delegates?
Well, I guess it depends what people want to talk about. Is it going to be a bit like speed dating, where someone sits down and wants to have a quick 5-minute chat about rote teaching or mnemonics or piano technique or publishing books? I mean, it depends what people want to chat about. But I do get asked questions a lot about publishing and how did I go about writing my books, or what did I do before I wrote them, or how did I go about writing them, or how did I get into rote teaching? Just anything. I can talk. So if people get me started, it'll be hard to get me to stop. Now, I think that people should just ask whatever they want to ask. And sometimes people think that their question might be silly, but there's no such thing as a silly question.
I agree. And as you say, for someone like you, it could be that people are interested in how you've built your business and how you've done the publishing. Others might be, well, how do you do this? I've got your cool rote teaching books. How do I use them? Or can you give me some demonstrations? We're also going to have a number of digital pianos around the room, so people actually go and try things out. So I'm really looking forward to that aspect, and really hope that it means that delegates can take away literally kind of like a plan of action of things that they can do in their studio, rather than just get swept away with the excitement and the motivating, inspirational speakers, but they can actually go and take something back to their studio to implement. So thank you very much for being around for the day for that. It's going to be so much fun. And guys, if you haven't come across Samantha before, I don't know where you've been, but she's actually been on my podcast. You've been the guest on the podcast the most, Samantha. I think you've been on 5 episodes, which is quite cool. And one of the highest rating podcasts in the history of my podcast is episode 122, called The Motivation Equation. It was one of a 3-part series I did with Samantha. So if you want to see what she's like in action, it's only a little taste because it's only audio, but check out that episode. So look, thank you very much, Samantha. It's been a delight hanging out with you very quickly today. Can't wait to see you in January. It's just going to be such a motivating, fun, and inspiring event. Thank you so much.
I am looking forward to it enormously. So thanks, Tim.
No worries. See you there.
Bye.
Just before you go, guys, I want to make sure you're aware of Piano Pivot Live. It's my first ever Piano Teachers Conference, and it's being held 23rd and 24th of January right here in my hometown of Melbourne. Beautiful weather in summer, of course. If you want to find out more about it, head to timtopham.com/conference. It's going to be an incredible experience, and I can't wait to welcome you to Melbourne. See you then.